I'm a visual artist, mixed media. I'm based in Brooklyn currently. Well, for the past year, I've been working on a series of photographs and chairs, found chairs. The title of that project is Somewhere in the Unfinished. It's a work about displacement. It's about a lot of other things, but that's the primary focus. Pulling from my own familial experience of displacement. My family's from Haiti. My parents both immigrated to the United States when they were teenagers. They met in college. I'm kind of exploring my own relationship to displacement through their displacement. So also exploring the relationship between homeland and home. My experience as an individual living in the US. So I also have that side of my identity as an American, as a Black woman. So I actually have been painting. Something that when I went into grad school, I thought I was gonna be a painter. I thought I was gonna do figurative portraiture, that kind of thing. And then I didn't do any of that while I was in school. So while I've been here, I've returned to that. In the past, I've worked with wood, and I think this time I was let me challenge myself to work on canvas because I've always avoided it. And so that's what I've been doing. I've been working on canvas. It actually started with found stretched cloth that I found here at Bemis, and I painted over it. And then from there I was let me get canvas, and so I've been working on that. So in the past I've always worked on the floor. I have been mixing that in with actually putting it on the wall and standing back, and as opposed to standing above it and looking down. So yeah, I think I'm just allowing myself to be a little bit just free to do whatever. And with the rhinestones and the sequins, those usually I would work with primary colors because the sequins tend to be in abundance in red, blue, green, silver. But now I'm not relying on them as much, so I've been going into neon colors. The sequins really come out of me referencing Haitian art, and in particular Haitian Vodou artwork and flag making, where people will thread sequins and beads across a satin back, kind of the satin becomes the canvas. Wouldn't necessarily consider it women's work or weaving and hand sewing, because in Haiti men and women both do those activities. That's what it's pulling from. And the sequins in general usually, one, they're accessible, so they're easy for artisans in Haiti to get a hand on. But then also they represent stardust, because most of those flag making practices are referencing the cosmic and spiritual. So I'm pulling from that as a way to adorn and embellish the work, but I'm also kind of having a cosmic, pulling that into the conversation as well. There was an exhibit of Haitian Vodou art that was traveling, and it came to Chicago. And so my father was consulted for that because he's a Haitian historian. So I learned from a woman who actually would make fags and bottles. The first thing I learned actually was how to cover a bottle in sequins and beads. I've just now started to sew into work. I was adhering the sequins with glue, and now I'm beginning to go back to the traditional way of sewing into the fabric. So video is very new to me. I have zero skills in that department. But I was finding that when I was working with the chairs, I wanted to be able to have the photograph. It begins with the photograph and then moves into a 3D object. But then I also wanted to have a video that could travel in a way that the photos and the object doesn't travel, because I could share it via a screen. Searching for found footage, I also kind of wanted to recreate the same process that I do with the chairs, but with the footage for video. The one I'm working on now is footage I've taken, and it's all taken with my iPhone. I see that as similarly to the sequence in terms of using ready-made found materials or accessible materials, and then the iPhone using what's the most accessible to me, which is my cellular device.